Hi everyone, we're still waiting
Welcome to
on
the
just
webinar.
a
You have
more
entered
people to
as
join
an
it. Starting
organizer
right
and
at
may
2
now
minutes
speak
past
to
now.
any other
Thanks for joining
organizers or
us.
panelists on the line. When you are ready to begin the presentation, press the Start Broadcast button on the GoToWebinar control panel to allow all attendees to hear you. This system will notify you once you begin your broadcast. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining us. We'll get started in just 1 minute. We're waiting on just a couple more people to join. All right, welcome to the webinar. Today's presentation is Engaging Your School Community with Every Kid Healthy Week. Thank you for joining the webinar today. I'd like to just take a minute to introduce myself and our panelists for today, Grace Perry. My name is Sean Wade, and I am the Senior Manager of Volunteer Initiatives at Action for Healthy Kids. I work with our national organization, our network of schools, and our partner organizations to develop strategies for engaging volunteers into our school health and wellness efforts. That includes parents and family members, youth and other community members, as well as nonprofits, businesses, and other community partners. I'm joined today by Grace Perry. Grace is our Southern Regional Manager and is based in Atlanta, Georgia. She'll be joining us later in the webinar to share just a couple success stories from schools who hosted Every Kid Healthy Week events in the past. Let's review some logistics before we get started. You'll see a control panel that's usually on the right side of your screen. You can use your telephone or speakers to listen to the presentation, but everyone will be muted so that we can avoid static and background interference. There's also a dialog box at the bottom of your control panel. You can type questions into that dialog box as we're going along, and we'll try to get them answered later in the presentation or via email following the webinar. This webinar is being recorded, and I will send links to the recording and resources 2 to 3 business days after the webinar. All right, so let's talk about what we'll cover in today's presentation. The main goal for today is for you to learn a little bit more about Every Kid Healthy Week, understand the resources that are available to you to help plan a great Every Kid Healthy Week event, and to take some ideas away and some tips on how to best engage your school community with your event. We'll also be sharing, as we go, some success stories, as I mentioned, from past years with Grace and myself. I'll start off today with an overview of Action for Healthy Kids, who we are and what we do, followed by a brief overview of Every Kid Healthy Week and some of the results from last year. We'll hear from Grace about an event last year in Georgia, then I'll go over some resources that are designed specifically for Every Kid Healthy Week to make your participation simple and easy, including how to register your event and join the national movement. We'll also talk about a couple other successful events from past Every Kid Healthy Weeks, and I'll highlight how you can engage parents and the wider school community as part of your events before going over some final keys to success. And we'll have time for some questions at the end, so please use that question box to submit any that you might have. All right, let's get started. First, I'd like to give you a little background on Action for Healthy Kids. Action for Healthy Kids fights childhood obesity, undernourishment, and physical inactivity by helping schools become healthier places. We are moms, dads, teachers, students, school and community leaders, and school wellness experts who have banded together to create healthier living and learning environments for our children. We believe that everyone has a part to play in ending the nation's childhood obesity epidemic. Our programs, tools, and resources make that possible. We were founded in 2002 by former Surgeon General David Satcher. Today we have more than 130,000 members in our network. We also partner with dozens of professional associations, government agencies, and corporations at the national and local levels. Integrating health and wellness into schools really gives students the opportunity for an academic advantage. That's what Action for Healthy Kids calls the Learning Connection. The Learning Connection is a great resource from Action for Healthy Kids to help you make the connection between physical activity, healthy eating, and learning. It's an easy-to-read special report that summarizes the most recent research proving that healthy kids are better learners. Research shows that physical activity has a positive impact on academic achievement. It leads to more focused classroom behaviors like concentration and memory, and it is related to improved mathematics, reading, writing, and writing test scores. Those are some really good talking points for you if you do encounter some skeptical members of your school community as you're planning or recruiting for your Every Good Healthy Week event, or are struggling to gain administrative support. Some of those talking points and the Learning Connection are available on our website and through the everygoodhealthyweek.org resources that we'll talk a little bit more as we go along. But these points can really reinforce why school health and wellness simply makes sense and deserves to be celebrated. All right, now I want to hear a little bit about who is on the call with us today. So I'm going to open a poll here where you can join in and jump in and tell us a little bit more about yourself, starting with who you are or what's your role within the school. So I'll give you just about 30 seconds to answer that question. It looks like we have a lot of school staff members and district staff members and some community members and members of community organizations. All right, just a couple more seconds and then I'll go ahead and close that down. So I know you all can't see the results, but we have about a quarter of the audience, a quarter of the folks that are listening are school district staff members, about a quarter are community members, answer D are work for community organizations, and then some school teacher staff members and some parent or caregivers, and then about 19-20% of you are something else. All right, one more poll here. I'm interested in is if your school has ever hosted an Every Kid Healthy Week event in the past. So I'll go ahead and open this poll, and so you can let us know just a little bit more about your history with Every Kid Healthy Week. Great. So split, mostly of the folks on the call are split between never having hosted an Every Kid Healthy Week event before and not being sure if your school has or not, which is totally fine. So great to have so many new folks with us today. I'll leave this open for just another couple seconds. And really what the point of the webinar today is to give you that introduction on Every Kid Healthy Week event and point you in the direction of the resources that really can help set you up for success to make sure that you can have a really great event for Every Kid Healthy this year, whether you are a grant-funded school and it's one of the deliverables of your grant to host an event, or someone who's just interested and excited about celebrating school health and all of the great school health work that you've been doing. So starting at the very beginning with a quick introduction and some brief history of Every Kid Healthy Week. This year it is April 22nd through 26th. That is because that is the fourth week of April, and we are approved by Congress and recognized as an official national health observance that is always celebrated during that fourth week of April. So that's been the case. That's been true since 2013 when Every Kid Healthy Week started, to bring focus to the nation's childhood obesity epidemic and its solutions: sound nutrition, regular physical activity, and health promoting school programs that help students be better prepared to learn and succeed academically. It's held annually during the fourth week of April, as I said, and is also designed to really provide some opportunities for parents, families, community members to get engaged in school health solutions. Schools participate in ways from hosting family health fair nights to renovating school playgrounds, from working in the school garden to conducting healthy food taste tests. We've had more than 6,000 schools nationwide host Every Kid Healthy Week events to celebrate their school's work and bring together over 3 million teachers, administrators, food service staff, parents, families, and community members to roll up their sleeves and get involved in school wellness programs. So if you're one of those few that are on the call that have hosted or participated in an Every Kid Healthy Week event in the past, thank you. We really appreciate it, and we love that you're bringing attention and celebrating all of the great work that schools are doing around school health. Every Kid Healthy Week 2019, as I mentioned, will be celebrated officially April 22nd through 26th, but there's flexibility around that week. We know there are holidays around there, there's testing around there are breaks around there. So we always give schools the flexibility and really extend the celebration from mid to late March through mid to late May with schools hosting events throughout that time period, but really focused in at the end of April. As a little bit more historical context, during the first year of Every Kid Healthy Week in 2013, we had 83 schools participate in 22 states that hosted events, and they engaged about 26,000 participants. So not too shabby, a pretty good start. But it's grown each year since 2013. And last year in 2018, we had over 1,600 total events, almost 700,000 total participants across 44 states in the country. We had state and local partners, almost 100 state and local partners that helped promote Every Kid Healthy Week and share great stories from schools that were celebrating. And we had 6 states that officially recognized Every Kid Healthy Week event through passing proclamations or legislation that designated that week in April as officially on a state level Every Kid Healthy Week and encourage students to participate and celebrate. We also had about 95% of schools that participated doing some sort of promotion for their event. So that's, we'll talk a little bit more later about what that looks like, but it could be anything from flyers to newsletters, sending information home to parents, to social media posts, to full-on press releases. So really a great year last year, and tons of schools participating and lots of people that got involved in celebrating school health and building the momentum. Also want to talk just briefly about, you can see there some of the top activity types, top types of activities that happened last year for Every Kid Healthy Week, types of events that schools hosted: taste tests, family fitness days, field days. We also had a lot of other events, categorized as other, that included things like bike or walk to school days, in-school activities like healthy daily announcements and classroom brain breaks, and healthy cooking demos. You can also see there we had a lot of schools that hosted events that had a volunteer component, so they engaged parents, families, community volunteers, which we'll talk a little bit more about later as we go along. And we had over 4,500 total volunteers that participated in Every Kid Healthy Week events that schools reported last year. I'll talk a little bit more shortly about how you can join the national movement and become one of those schools that is hosting an event for Every Kid Healthy Week 2019. But first, I want to introduce Grace Perry to share a short success story from a 2018 Every Kid Healthy Week event in Decatur, Georgia. Grace, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks, Sean. Can you hear me okay? Sean, can you?
Grace, are you with us?
I am, Sean. Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay. Well, it seems like we're having just a few audio difficulties.
Hey, Sean, can you hear me? Hey, Sean, can you hear me? Sean, can you hear me? Hey, Sean, can you hear me? Sean, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Grace.
Okay, good. I'm not sure what was happening there.
I'm not.
Hopefully everybody else. Are we good?
Yep. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Great. Sorry about that. So yeah, I'm so excited to talk about what we did at Columbia Elementary with Every Kid Healthy Week last year. They did a school-wide event during the school day, and they actually made a name for it. It was Get Up and Move and a taste test. Like Sean mentioned, it was in Decatur, Georgia. So this school particularly had some fun physical activity kind of stations set up all around their gym. So students would come through and they would do these fun activities. And then we even had a taste test station where they actually came through and tested different items. And they had a big thing on the wall where they kept score of what the students enjoyed and what they didn't enjoy so much, which were some really great results. But we also had the opportunity to have community involvement with this event. We had some people volunteer through Aldi that came out to the event. We had a parent who actually planned and hosted the event for the school, which was really great to work with her and see her involvement with the school and her excitement to actually celebrate this event during the week.
Awesome. Thank you, Grace.
And here,
oh, go ahead.
No, I didn't know if these, so these were some pictures. These are actual pictures from the school that were taken during the event.
Great, thank you, Grace. And we'll hear from Grace again. And I apologize for the audio difficulties. It looks like that was just on my end. We got several people commenting that they could hear you just fine. So I apologize. That was my bad. But thank you again for sharing that story from Columbia Elementary in Decatur. And it sounds like a really great event and lots of good engagement there from parents and volunteers. So I'll go ahead and move on now to some of the resources that are available through everykidhealthyweek.org. I hope that hearing about that event, and you'll hear about some others as we go along from Grace and myself, really gets everyone excited to start planning your own activities this year. And for me, it's getting me excited to look into new headphones or speakers so that we don't have those audio issues again. But a first step in planning the activities that you have in mind for Every Kid Healthy Week 2019, I would encourage you to visit Every Kid Healthy Week, the website everykidhealthyweek.org, where you will be able to access all things related to Every Kid Healthy Week. So we've updated some of the resources that have been available in years past. And you can see all of those here at everykidhealthyweek.org. I'll show a few of the resources that are available, and you can walk through those on your own as you go through. But there's a couple that I really want to pull out from this list here. This is what you see on the website when you go. But on the left there, you see the Every Kid Healthy Week toolkit. And that's one that I really want to highlight because it's a comprehensive document that contains ideas and some additional guidance on how to plan your activity. You'll see in the toolkit there are even more resources and links within each activity idea. So it's broken down by types of ideas and also by some of the things that you need to do as you're planning your event. How to communicate it out and promote your event, how to engage volunteers and the planning and the execution of the event, and how to make sure that on the day of the event it comes off without a hitch. Another resource there that you can see on the right is a checklist and timeline that you can use to plan your event. It takes a lot of the information that is in the toolkit and breaks it down into a handy checklist that you can go through line by line and just keep track of what you're doing and stay on top of your planning activities. So you can see there on the planning checklist that planning, we recommend starting about 2 to 3 months or more out from the event. But if you haven't started some of those items in that first 3 to 4 month section, it's okay. There's still time, but I would recommend getting started as soon as possible. You can also find on the Every Kid Healthy Week website a flyer template to use to recruit attendees and volunteers, and a one-page info sheet that gives a brief and general overview of Every Kid Healthy Week. This is a great first step when you're looking to share out the message of Every Kid Healthy Week, especially when you're really trying to get that support that you need from school, the school administration, or parents, or community partners that might not necessarily know what Every Kid Healthy Week is all about. So you can use that overview document to share that information and some of the resources that are available in the toolkit to make that case. Once you have the basics of your event down, that time, the date, the location, the sign-off from the administration, a big part of planning your event will be promotion. You've got a great idea, now you'll want to let people know about the celebration and recruit volunteers to help out or get parents or community members involved to attend the event. So on the right side there, you see our basic flyer template that you can easily download and customize to meet your specific needs. So you can just pop in your information, add some details about your activity, and then you're all set to promote the information out to your parent network or community partners to get them involved. We also have some additional communications resources on the website too that you're welcome to take a look at. Those have some sample newsletter information, some social media posts, Every Kid Healthy Week hashtags that you can use to share on your social media pages. All of that is designed to really help you with each step along the way and make the planning and the promotion simple and easy so that you can host a really successful and fun and engaging Every Kid Healthy Week event. So please go ahead and check out those resources. Check out the resources section on everykidhealthyweek.org. See what's available for you to use in your healthy and help to make your healthy celebrations possible. If you do have any questions about any of the resources that you find there, you're also welcome to reach out to me, and I'll be happy to answer any of those questions. I'll share my contact info at the end of this webinar. I would also, as we're talking about resources, I want to mention and encourage you to check out our Game On program. It's another hugely valuable resource on the Action for Healthy Kids website if you are looking for activity ideas. There's an outline of for almost every activity I've mentioned so far, or that you'll see as we talk about as we go along. You can see outlines for those activities and kind of broken down step by step on how to tackle them and make them happen. So it's even more robust than some of the ideas that are in the Every Kid Healthy Week toolkit, because there are tons of both move more activities for physical activity and eat healthy activities for nutrition. So go ahead and search Game On. You can find Game On our website, actionforhealthykids.org, and find cafeteria activities, garden ideas, physical activity ideas, many others. There's also tips within each of those activity ideas and resources that are specific to that activity to again assist you with each step along the way. I want to take a few minutes now to walk through how you can plug into the national movement of Every Kid Healthy Week and register your event to put your school on the map. We invite all schools who are hosting Every Kid Healthy Week events to register their event through our events and volunteer management tool in our school portal. So I'll just take a few minutes now to walk you through that process so you can add your school to our awesome Every Kid Healthy Week map that you can see there on your screen. So that's from a couple years ago. The 2018 map I showed you earlier looks very similar, but with a few more of those red dots, and hopefully this year we'll have even more red markers on it too. So the first thing that you'll want to do is create an account in our school portal. So it's accessible through that portal. If you've applied for a grant, completed a school health index, or done anything else on the Action for Healthy Kids school portal, then you already have login, and your login information is the same for this as it would have been for that. If you don't yet have login information, it's super easy, so no worries. You can create an account in the portal. Just takes a couple minutes and a few short steps to create your account there. And then once you're in the portal, you'll need to click on the events link on the toolbar on your left. So you can see it there pointed at by that blue arrow there. You'll click on that events link, and then you'll click on request an event. And that will take you to the page where you can request your Every Kid Healthy Week event. And make sure you do choose the EKH Week event, Every Kid Healthy Week event option, because that gives you a few other, we are looking for just a few more pieces of information about Every Kid Healthy Week events. You'll be able to answer questions about how many volunteers you're expecting and other types of a couple more details on your Every Kid Healthy Week event. Should not take very long at all. You should be able to register your Every Kid Healthy Week event in just a few minutes. But this is also how we're tracking the requirement for our grant-funded schools to host an Every Kid Healthy Week event. So please do make sure that you classify your event correctly. When you choose EKH Week event, your Every Kid Healthy Week event, you'll be prompted to complete this form to give us a few additional details about your event. Do please fill that out as best as you can and pay particular attention to the question about serving a healthy snack at your event, because we do want to encourage all schools to serve those healthy snacks and include a nutrition component and a physical activity component as often as possible as part of your events. Once you complete the registration survey, hit submit and you'll receive a confirmation email and be all set to go to promote your event. There's also detailed step-by-step guides and information on registering your events on everykidhealthyweek.org that walks you through these steps as well. So if you have additional questions, you can enter them in the chat box or connect with me after the webinar. Any questions beyond what I've just gone over, or as you start to complete your registration. Okay, so I'll now turn it back over to Grace to share another success story, another great story from a school in Alabama. Grace, go ahead.
Yeah, so this was another story from an event at Pelham Ridge Elementary, which is in Pelham, Alabama. So basically during the school week, they did a taste test during school for all the students to participate school-wide. And then they kind of did a finale on the Saturday, the end of that week, with the whole community doing a color run. So this is a picture of a bunch of the parent volunteers, teachers, and students in front of the Every Kid Healthy Week banner before the event. So, Sean, I think there's some more pictures too. Yeah. So what was so great about this event too is the cafeteria and physical education department partnered on this. So they were able to keep tally and do some fun things with their smoothie taste test. And then they did some additional physical activities. Even during lunch, they got up and moved, which was really cool and something that I had not seen before, but was just a really neat and fun thing for the kids to do. And the teachers got involved as well. So it was a fun event. They did have some fun little things come out of the smoothie taste test. They loved both the smoothies, but at the end of the day, the orange smoothie was the crowd winner. And then at the end, all the kids started saying some motto that said, "All help the king of the smoothie." So it was a really fun and sweet event and got the whole community involved. We saw a great parent turnout at the color run. And it was just a great thing that they are actually doing every year now. And this was the first time they had done it. So it was really fun. And that picture on the right is just a picture from the taste test where they had the smoothies on their tray at lunch. So it was a great event and hopefully provides some great examples of maybe some things that you can do in your school.
Awesome. Thanks again, Grace. I appreciate you sharing those stories and just giving a couple different examples and events that looked much different, the one at Columbia and the one at Pelham Ridge, but all really great examples of how you can get your school involved and both on the physical activity side with the color run and on the nutrition side with the taste test of how to get folks involved and make it fun for the kids and get parents in the community involved as well. So as Pelham Ridge did, and as you heard Grace describe, I would also encourage you all to think about how you can engage parents, families, and the entire school community in your Every Kid Healthy Week events. A few reasons to do so really mirror the reasons to host an Every Kid Healthy Week event in the first place. You want to celebrate all the great work that you've done with those that have helped and supported you throughout the year. You want to make sure that you thank those who attend and who have been instrumental in your school health efforts that have been ongoing all year, but really use Every Kid Healthy Week as a chance to say thank you and to celebrate and to show off all of the great work that you've done. The event can also really help you build momentum going into the next year. So going into the 2019-2020 school year and over the summer, having Every Kid Healthy Week event, having Every Kid Healthy Week really at the end of April, towards the end of the school year helps to kind of build that momentum. You can start to get folks involved at the end of the school year, keep them engaged over the summer, and then use that to really push forward in the fall to keep that momentum going and be able to work to continue the projects or expand them for next year as well. And engaging your parents and community members has its own benefits also. You can do more with limited resources. Parent volunteers might be able to help you accomplish more without costing more resources when done well, and finding those right volunteers who are good fits from your parent and family community. You can help build new connections with both parents and community organizations. Building those real relationships with volunteers can help you in the future as new needs might arise, or parents and community members might feel more connected to the school, and be more willing to share ideas and resources as you go along. And engaging those parents, those family members, those community members, letting them know about all of the great things that are happening at your school really just has a lot of positive effects, and bringing people together into all the great work that you're doing. I would also encourage you to consider including a volunteer component in your Every Kid Healthy Week event, whether that's a mutual partnership between you and the volunteers, but also really benefiting both the school and the volunteers themselves. You can think about, as you're going through, how you might be able to engage volunteers and parents and community members as part of the event, whether that's, there's a few ideas on here: hosting a healthy taste test with your parents, as Pelham Ridge did, involving the whole family with a walk or bike to school event. So getting everybody out in the morning, and getting them active and getting to school, making sure that there's a safe route to school in the mornings. You can invite volunteers from the community, from fitness classes, yoga studios, or dance studios, or martial arts studios, to come in and lead a class, or work with a local farmer, or maybe a local nutritionist, or someone from a health organization that can come in and discuss nutritionists and locally grown options for foods. I know other schools that we've worked with in the past have even brought farmers in to do like a farmer's market, where kids can go through and pick some fresh fruits and vegetables that were grown locally, and try some things that they might not have tried before, or might not have tried fresh before. There's also the option of hosting a full family health fair, where you're bringing in lots of people from all around the community to share some healthy ideas. I also want to invite you to, in the comment section now, in the chat box, add some thoughts about how you can engage, or how you have in the past engaged parents and families with your events, whether that's Every Kid Healthy Week events in the past, or other events that you've hosted at the school, or ideas that you have already for this year on how you can engage parents and families in your work. So I'll open that up and let folks type in some thoughts and some ideas in the chat box now, and I'll read those as we go along as well, so we can share some of those great ideas, and really kind of get the juices flowing on some of those. So if you do have any thoughts, just go ahead and pop those in the chat box. And while you're doing that, I will share one more really fun success story that we had last year from a school in Chicago, Illinois. Reilly Elementary School in Chicago hosted a Dia del Nino. They have a 25-person parent team, so they have a ton of parent engagement already at the school, and a really great community that they've built up. But they, up until the last couple of years, haven't been able to leverage that community to really focus and hone in on school health. And last year, they were really able to do that with this event that they've hosted for many, many years at the school. But last year, they focused the event on school health. So they had it was an all-day carnival, but it was a healthy all-day carnival. They had taste tests, they had fitness events, performances from the school music groups and dance teams. They had info stations about healthy eating. They even had a petting zoo that they brought in for the event. But they've really utilized the parent group at the school to grow the parent engagement across the school, and increasingly focused on healthy initiatives since they've been a part of Action for Healthy Kids. They've even got one parent who works as a chef locally to host a healthy cooking workshop for parents. They've also taught parents how to shop for and prepare some cost-efficient, healthy recipes for their families, and they've incorporated ingredients and kind of built shopping lists from local grocery stores as well in the area too. So you can see all of the great work that they've been able to do. They had some parent engagement, but they were able to then leverage that parent engagement and shift their focus to really be about school health, which is great to see. So there's a couple comments that I see come through. So Sarah says that her school has become involved with Kids Walk for kids with cancer through one of the families at the school. So they've been able to work with them to bring to bring the parent communities together. And she says maybe doing something for a cause helps with engagement, especially if it affects the family or the school in general. So that's a great idea to build support and build community around that, a very important cause there. I also see Jen, who says that she's a children's book author and writes children's books that are focused on health. So she's asking how she can get involved in Every Kid Healthy Week. And Jen, I'll follow up with you after the webinar because that's a great idea and we'd love to get you involved too. But there's also a couple other folks that are sharing some ideas that we'll get to as well. And then I'll follow up with you after the webinar, and we can connect on how you can get more involved. So thank you again for your comments there, and we'll go ahead and push on and finish out in the next 5 or 10 minutes, and then open it up for any other questions that folks might have. So finally, I want to wrap up with a few keys to success that we've identified from past Every Kid Healthy Weeks. As you just heard, our presenters and Grace and from the success stories that we shared, they touched on a lot of these keys to success that help to make their activities successful. You'll definitely, that first point there I think is really important, that you really need the support and the commitment from your administration. Let them in on what the activity is all about if they weren't already aware, and you want to make sure that you're getting their support from the start. So if you haven't already talked with your administration at the school, or at the district level about getting their support for your Every Kid Healthy Week activity, now's a great time to start with a few of the resources that we've gone over so far today. When putting together that plan for your activities and for your projects, you'll also want to engage others who can help you and are excited about the event. So you can use that toolkit that we talked about earlier to help get started with your organization and planning. But you really want to make sure that you have a committee of folks around you, because we've learned, and I'm sure you've probably experienced as well, that you just can't do it all by yourself. And you'll also definitely want to communicate your activity to get others excited and involved. And then, of course, use those parents and family volunteers that we talked about to assist with any activity or event. And that's a huge key to success as well for events that might be larger than some internal school types of events. Volunteers can help on your planning committee. They can help set up activity stations. They can recruit other parents or community members to get involved. They can help with registration, supervision. They can help with cleanup. There's just tons of different ways to get those parents and volunteers involved. And we encourage you to make sure that you're doing that as well. I also want to mention one other resource that's available, particularly this year. Action for Healthy Kids recently became the organizational home for the Collective Impact Initiative Active Schools. Active Schools is dedicated to making it easier for schools to create an active school environment that provides students with at least 60 minutes of physical activity per day before, during, and after school. They have more than 90 partner organizations that can help bring your Every Kid Healthy Week event to life, with tons of resources for classroom physical activity and ways for parents to get involved. I will include those links to the Active Schools resources in the wrap-up email. And just as I encouraged you to check out the Game On resources, I encourage you to check out the Active Schools resources as well, because they do have some really great ideas in there that can really help, especially if you're thinking about how to engage and include physical activity in your event, how to bring that to life and how to really make that a big part of the event. I want to share some pictures on the next couple of slides of past Every Kid Healthy Week events, as well as we talk about just a few more ideas and other things to keep in mind as you're going forward with your Every Kid Healthy Week event planning. But remember, really, the ultimate goal is to make sure that your Every Kid Healthy Week activities are fun for everyone involved, from the students to staff, faculty, parents, and community members, and that they celebrate and support healthy initiatives. We have our state teams and state coordinators and regional managers that can help you, that help schools across the country to assist, and they can answer questions for you as well. So definitely use that as a state level resource as well. And as I mentioned before, please use me as a resource too. I'll share my contact information at the end of the webinar too. I wanted to share just a few other activities that have been done in the past with great success. Some you can see on here, like a school garden workday, or Zumba or yoga stations for the whole school before, after, or during school. We've also seen taste tests like we talked about, daily challenges through brain breaks or during morning announcements, including those daily challenges, physical activities, health screenings, dance breaks. You can see a color run there, other fun runs, or fun walks, family fitness days. All of these types of events have been really successful in the past, but really the key is making sure that it fits with your school culture, and that it engages the school community to celebrate the school health work that you've been doing, and uh, and build momentum as you go forward. We also do definitely want you to share your success with us, so you can connect with your state coordinator or regional manager to have them answer any questions that you might have, but you can also share your pictures with us, use social media to help promote your event, and share your healthy celebration messages. The more that we can connect and share with each other, the more Every Kid Healthy Week event, the more that Every Kid Healthy Week will continue to grow and expand around the country, so that we go from the 800 schools that we started with in 2013 through the 1,600 that we had last year, all the way up beyond 2,000 and more as we go forward into the future. So be sure to connect with us on social media, because we will be spotlighting schools during Every Kid Healthy Week and before and after Every Kid Healthy Week to share your successes and pictures and videos from a national level. So use those Every Kid Healthy hashtags, and be sure to like Action for Healthy Kids on our social media networks as well, whether that's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Flickr, YouTube, all of them, whatever you can think of, we're there, and we're present, and we'll use those to promote the great things that are happening during Every Kid Healthy Week. So it looks like we do have just a couple questions. So I'll go ahead and take a look through those and see if there's any that we can answer here. So Judy, you have a question about how does one go about getting one of those nifty banners or posters with the Every Kid Healthy and Ready to Learn logos as shown in the images? That's a great question. Those will be going out to all of our grant-funded schools in the next couple of weeks. So if you've received a grant this year from Action for Healthy Kids, you'll be getting an Every Kid Healthy toolkit that includes the banner and a few other items in there. So, Judy, I'm not sure if your school is a grant-funded school, but if you are, you'll definitely be receiving those. And if you're not, then I can follow up with you afterwards, and we may be able to talk about how you can either purchase one or we can work that out. All right, so a couple of the other questions I'll have to follow up with you afterwards. Sarah, I see your questions there, and I'll follow up with you after the webinar on those as well. But thank you for including that. If you do have any other questions, whether it's now, you can go ahead and enter them in the chat box. We do have just a couple more minutes, then I'm happy to answer some questions. Otherwise, you can reach out via email, and I'd be happy to answer those as well. For those of you who had questions that I will follow up with you after the webinar on, keep an eye on that, and I'll send you an email following the webinar to answer those that are more specific to your experience there too. As I mentioned before, definitely be sure to follow us on our social media networks to stay up with and see all of the other resources that we're sharing, not just about Every Kid Healthy Week, but throughout the year. We have success stories, health tips, physical activity games, recipes, opportunities and ideas, all that kind of stuff. So definitely keep that in mind and follow us or like us on those pages. And that concludes our webinar for today. So as I mentioned before, I'll send out an update in the next couple days with a follow-up email with a link to the recording and handouts. I'd like to thank Grace again for sharing her story with us and apologize for the technical audio difficulties earlier. But I'd also like to thank all of you for all of the things you're doing each and every day to ensure that all kids are healthy, active, and ready to learn. Thanks again for all of your time today and all of your initiatives, and have a great day.